loading snacks.
What it do, snackers and snackettes? It's your boy Gage. Joke is in the building.
Yo,
Finn is in the building.
What's happening?
It's Monday. It's weird. It's Monday. Scheduling conflicts. We had to do a little something today. But you are now tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today we're going to talk about the Snyder Cut. We're going to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're going to talk about Hawkeye. We're going to talk about the Them trailer. What appears to be clarification of Mechagodzilla for Godzilla vs. Kong, which comes out next week. It's popping.
Wait, is that this week?
Next week, 31st.
Huh, okay.
31st. I'm pretty sure.
I
31st.
saw something that said the 25th, but okay.
I mean,
Double check,
not that I seen.
That's what I'm...
So yes, Ellis. Monday, no.
Yeah.
Jokes isn't actually. Jokes might be watching Raw, even though we're doing this. It's possible.
What are you talking about? There
Whatever,
may not
whatever
be.
do you mean?
Raw may not be playing on my TV muted in the background. I don't know what you're talking about.
Not ever possible, sir. Domingo, what up, bro? Jay Roberts, what's happening? Listen, that whiplash you're talking about getting from having to go back and forth between watching us and watching nerds, I'm sure that is going to be pretty difficult. I would have loved to have participated in 5 Up 3 Down over on Uncanny Nerd because they are talking about Spider-Man today, but I had to work late and then had to do this. So, sorry your brain's hurting, J. Robert Deans. We tend to have that effect on people though. Listen, it looks like there's a lot of y'all watching, so listen, feel free to jump in the chat. We are a very friendly show. We like people to jump in and participate. We love a little participation. So listen, why don't we start by doing this? Let's get the Snyder Cut out of the way. Okay. Last week we did a news blip. What's up, Alfonso? We did a little news blip, just kind of what our overall impressions were. They were spoiler filled. It was a spoiler, boys.
Spoiler boys.
Straight up. So we talked about, the Snyder Cut and kind of got into things. We're not going to get into spoilers here today. I don't think that's fair. Ellis, listen, if you watched,
that's what I was about to say.
Watched what happened last week. You would know that The Rock says, "Shut your mouth."
Somebody didn't go check out that video.
Somebody didn't check it out. You haven't watched either. You haven't watched Falcon and Winter Soldier either. Falcon and Snowman. All right, listen. We're gonna talk Falcon and Winter Soldier. There won't be spoilers here, though. The spoiler boys for that is up now in MCU chat. It's also up on Patreon if you want the full 40 minutes. But we decided to do it as a separate section on MCU chat instead of dropping it in the comments. We needed to be a destination for people to go to. Ty, Snyder Cut. You excited?
You're very
excited. I know he is.
I know he is. And you know what? Here's the thing. He should be. He should be. Because the fact of the matter is the Snyder Cut is everything every other DCEU film should have been. It is an homage and to the original comics. It is full on fan service, which is what these should be. The only real issue with it is how long it is, in my opinion. There are other things, but as a whole, this joint is super solid.
Mm-hmm.
It smashes what the theatrical release. And again, I watched the 4 hours of this and then went back and watched the original theatrical release. And I knew the theatrical release was garbage, but now it's garbage truck on fire garbage. It's so bad. It's so bad. I already had complaints. It didn't make any sense. Stuff in the story just doesn't quite line up. Nobody cares about Steppenwolf.
None.
The Snyder cut fixes pretty much all of the issues that I have with the original release of Justice League. It just happens to be too long. They could have done this as a 2-hour movie. It could have been done. They should have done 2 movies. They should have done this as a part 1 and a part 2, Infinity War Endgame. Like, they should have split it into 2. They couldn't do that because they haven't been smart enough to actually build everybody else's characters up first to build to a reason to have all of these people working together, right? So they have completely failed as far as that's concerned. Pop that up on screen. Van Hamilton.
Oh, that one I see it.
Yeah. We gonna get to Ty because I know Ty gonna have a lot to say. So fellas, saw the sound cut. Wolfpack homies. Yeah. It was dope. The extended edition scenes made it all worthwhile. Made it hella better than the other. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like it's. I mean, again, it feels like 4 hours. Even though it doesn't feel like it drags on, it does feel like 4 hours. Like I wouldn't even recommend to somebody that they watch, like I wouldn't say watch Infinity War and Endgame back to back. You know what I'm saying? Like watch one, get it out your system, come back for the next one. But again, because we know, like, there's a lot of Justice League War in this. If you've seen Justice League War, they could have done this in a 2-hour film. There's a way to do it. I think that some of this I think the most important thing about what the Snyder Cut version of Justice League says is that this version of the film could only exist in one piece because HBO Max exists. Yeah,
because you were going to get a 4-hour version of it in the theater.
No.
Nah.
No.
Maybe after. That would have been, if they decided to do, like, you know, at that point, the director's cut.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been like one of those special 1 week type things before they just say, hey, here's the special edition on Blu-ray and 4K or whatnot ever.
Hey, hold on a second. Hey, Jimmy. Get out of the comments, Jimmy.
Oh, man, my man just coming in swinging. He's just coming in swinging.
Go lift weight, Jimmy. Pop that J. Robert Dean's honest question. Do you get a feeling that Snyder's worldview may have changed after what happened between not finished jail and making this cut of giving family events? Not really. Jimmy's definitely going to lift weight. Not really. I mean, I don't think his worldview changed. I mean, I think that the world he was trying to create, with the first 2 films, with Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, in the kind of darker, edgier, grittier version of Justice League, which, you know, isn't necessarily bad. I mean, you know, even the DC animated films, more or less, like them or not, right? Mostly like them. They live on being edgier than what Marvel does.
Yeah.
Like they live in that darker, grittier space.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they should be defined by that. They have been forced to be defined by that. But that's the space they live in. So to a certain extent, whether you like it or not, him mimicking what has been successful in the animated space only makes sense because it's been successful.
Right.
In that space.
I think how do I put this? After seeing like his view of what he wanted it to be and seeing what actually came out of it, like you leave it to people like, I trust y'all gonna take care of it and you know it's gonna be great, yada yada, and to see the theatrical cut probably pissed them off. Like that's not the vision I had planned. That's the ideas I had. It was supposed to be more this, that, and third, and you know, went to bat to get his cut of it.
Interesting thing is actually, and Snyder actually admit he's never watched the original cut. When they interviewed him during IGN's Fan Fest or whatever that was, he didn't say this part, but he said that he didn't watch it. But according to his other people told him don't watch it. Apparently. But he stuck away from it. I don't know if it was just for the sense of, he knew what it was that he wanted to do. And I don't think necessarily if he wanted to watch that and then still try to take elements out of it and then incorporate it and keep it in the continuity of what he did. But he said he did not watch the original film.
I mean, I understand that. I mean, there a lot of people are saying like the 4 hours is worth it. They're saying that it didn't feel like 4 hours. My opinion on it is they probably should have and could have broken this down into multiple parts. Just like they did. I mean, they broke it into 6 parts when you watch the whole thing.
But it should have left it as that.
They could have left it as that. They didn't. I mean, they didn't have to. Again, it's not hurting them that it is this way, except that there are people who are like, I don't know, man, 4 hours. I don't really want to. So I think that I do think 4 hours is too long. But again, in the comments, like Ty is saying in the comments, like, yeah, they had to go back and build on characters they had to introduce, like Cyborg. You're right, Ellis. That appreciation for Cyborg. Cyborg is the key.
Absolutely.
There are still parts of it I don't like. There are parts that were removed from it that I did like. I actually like some of the comedic tropes, but I don't necessarily miss them. I did like them. You know what I mean? But again, I don't want to get into spoilers. We're not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. I know there are people who haven't. You're right, Ben. The Marvel Netflix universe was super dark, super edgy.
Oh yeah.
And look, as far as Fox and Marvel are concerned, they have leaned into the R-rated space, and they are saying they will continue to do that. And we'll see how that pans out as they do stuff like Blade, you know what I mean, and that kind of thing. We'll see, you know what I mean, what they do with it. What that means is that Marvel is in a place where they can lean into what DC does, has been doing, and do it better because they've already been doing the other stuff they do better. So DC has, I think DC and Warner Brothers as a whole have to do a better job of figuring out how they line this stuff up. What I do think is a possibility. Look, Snyder saying not doing a sequel, but they set it up for a sequel. Like this was set up for a sequel. The stuff they went back and reshoot, the stuff that happens at the end, the nightmare sequence and stuff like that. Again, I'm not going to get into spoilers or whatever, but he said he hasn't. Here's what I want to know. Should they greenlight a sequel?
I think so. I think the fans made this possible, trying to bring the Snyder Cut about, and I think with the way that it was presented, I think it definitely warrants the sequel. Now, obviously, the way how maybe they'll do it, like I don't think they should do it as another 4-hour thing. At that point, I definitely not. Or if they don't do it as a direct movie, maybe they should do it how they intended to release how this 4-hour was and was supposed to be in the different sections, and then say like, hey, here's an hour, and you get it each week, like the MCU shows. If you maybe take it out of the element of doing it as a movie and do it as a mini series type thing, I think maybe that would be the realm to explore and to do it in, and that way, you know what, you can keep it at the length that you truly want it to be, without necessarily trying to shove a whole nother 4-hour movie in some place in people's faces, because not everybody has the intentions, I don't want to say, but to sit through a 4-hour movie. Like for me, it doesn't bother me. Like I'm kind of like me and Sin, we will binge watch anime for hours and hours on end, so I can sit through 4 hours. But the average person,
but I mean, you do the same thing when Netflix releases something. You sit there and you binge the whole thing. We binge 13 episodes of Daredevil in a row. You know, that's facts too. It's not like they couldn't. You know what I mean? Like we're hearing yeses and nos. You know what I mean? The chat is saying absolutely not. The chat is saying WB says Snyder won't be back. Just because Snyder's not back doesn't mean they won't greenlight a sequel.
Not at all.
True.
It may not be him.
And here's the other thing. Based on the success of what this is, that doesn't mean they won't bring Snyder back just because they said it. WB says a lot of things.
I mean, they said there was never going to be a Snyder cut.
Well, that's true too. You know what I mean? So I mean, and Ellis saying they should greenlight an Injustice / Nightmare movie, but not a sequel. I don't know how you could greenlight that, and it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Based on this, like.
Mm-hmm.
But I would greenlight the sequel, and it will be based off of the cliffhanger. At the end, just let's finish out the story. Let's go forward. Let's finish telling the whole story. For the fans, like Snyder got his vision of the movie out. We love it. We appreciate it. We like what we saw. Like, let's go ahead and finish out that storyline and let's greenlight the sequel. I'll be down.
Keep it a trilogy. You know what? Make this a trilogy, and this is its own thing. And then if you decide to move on and do something else, as far as obviously we have the multiverse, their universe thing going on, keep it as a trilogy, pocket that away. It's done. Move on to something else.
Yeah.
I mean, so here's the thing.
Yes, Ellis. SVU marathon.
Like J. Robert Dean saying they need a Spider-Man Homecoming and do another Justice League film with a new younger cast. I'm gonna touch on that in a second. Ellis is saying we're saying 4 hours like it's hard because you could watch it. You do SVU marathon like it's nothing.
I know.
The difference is that you don't watch that. You don't watch that technically straight through. Like you marathon it, but it begins and it ends. You know what I mean? Like, yes, those shows are sequential. So like you can have the end of an episode that then there are things that still existed in the next episode, but you are ending and starting something else. It's not one full continuous piece that feels like one full continuous piece. You can't exactly, they're not apples to apples. Let me put it that way. So when you binge watch a show, even if you binge watch all 13 episodes of something that Netflix drops, right? There's a beginning and an end that says, oh my goodness, I can't wait for the next one. Let me just watch another one. You know what I mean? Let me just watch another one. There is a difference, right? There is something that does something to you when credits roll, right? When something ends, you know what I mean? There's a piece of satisfaction that comes with, I finished this piece and I can stop here if I want. You know what I mean? You might not stop there, but you can stop there if you want to. When they do it all as one piece, I think part of what they did well with this was by breaking it into 6 parts and then giving you the name, saying this is part so and so, and giving it a name. It basically was giving you an out. This is a good stopping point if you're not, if you can't watch this whole thing right here, right now. So they could have broken it into individual pieces. And I'm not saying they should have. I feel like it might have worked better though.
Yeah, for the people complaining about how long it is, it would have done more to get them involved in. Like, let me at least tune in and see the first one, maybe the first 2, see how I like it. Instead of 4 hours.
Here's the thing, Ben. Lois Lane really is the key. Again, no spoilers, but here's what I'll say about that. Not really. She is designed to be the key later on, but she's designed to be the key for something that actually isn't about this particular film.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's about something else that we're apparently not going to get. Now, for me, if WB was to greenlight a sequel, and I think they could, and to a certain extent, I feel like they should. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because they have already come out and said, we have decided that we can have characters that are the same character in movies at the same time. We have established the multiverse. Multiverse exists. So all you have to do is, this is the Snyderverse. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like,
cool. Yeah.
This is what that is, because you already have Ben Affleck's Batman who will exist at the same time as Robert Pattinson Batman. Right. And they're just going to treat it like it doesn't matter. So for all intents and purposes, yes, you could just be like, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. You know what I mean? I don't really want to see a Flash movie.
And yes, J. Robert Deans, there was a ton of slow-mo.
It was a bunch of unnecessary
slow-mo.
Slow-mo could have probably taken off 30 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, you probably could have shaved about half an hour out.
Like, it was a lot.
Oh, man.
It was good in places.
Slow-mo.
It just started feeling, and especially the Flash, obviously running fast, slow-mo, like that's a combo to use. But then when you have seen it in like,
yeah, but it's also terrible because he's garbage at running.
That's the thing too.
That dude has the worst run. That dude has the worst run in history.
I'm hoping somehow there's like a fix for that. Like, I don't know if it's the suit, like however this first generation suit or something that
There
I
might
don't know.
be more slow mo than lens flare for sure.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is.
I don't even. I will say, you're right, Greg. Again, the first one was so bad because they left so much out, and it. The first one does feel incomplete. It feels incomplete. I got heated at how much slow mo. Well, I'm telling you, extra 30 to 45 minutes of slow mo alone, bruh.
Yeah.
Alone.
In places when it wasn't even necessary.
Not at all, bruh. And like I'm gonna be. Here's the hate. This is what you was looking for, Ellis.
Nah.
The slow motion. We are the Justice League. Everybody jumping forward moment that was stolen.
That was stolen right from. Yep.
Stop it.
I saw that. I was like,
Stop
nope.
it, dog. Stop it. Don't do that. Don't do that, bruh. That was disgusting. I didn't like that. That was. It's rare that I'm like watching a movie by myself and I suck my teeth out loud. Straight up, bro. I saw that John was just like.
No, I do that all the time when I'm watching movies.
That John was blatant rip. Like blatantly ripped.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Just stupid stuff like that. It just catches me. You know, people driving in the rain in a Cadillac.
Like, it's pretty bad. Hold on.
First of all, I was getting coffee. I don't know.
Hold on.
I don't know.
Hey dog. What do we talk? What is happening here? Ellis. Bad Bunny and the Miz?
I saw it. I already knew this was what we were leading up to. So it didn't surprise me when it's official, but yeah. Yeah, it's a thing.
All right. So anyway,
it's
hey dog, hey Ty, you love that scene? What scene? The slow mo where they was all jumping together?
No, she was going to get her coffee.
Man, that better have been the best damn cup of coffee that warranted a slow mo.
No, no. Oh my goodness.
All right, listen. J. Robert Dean's, you right. We gotta get past this. I don't care if they don't actually have them run. You gotta do it better. Like you gotta do it better. Because it literally looks like it literally looks like my man has never run before. Like it literally looks like he's never run before. Yeah. Like it looks so bad. And it's like they're having him run in slow motion. Like they don't have him run and then slow it down. They have him do the slow mo, bro. It's so bad, man. And it makes
CW Flash looks way so better. Much better.
Yeah.
Way better.
So much better.
Hey, dog, for real, you don't have to slow it down. Just let him do what he got to do, man. You know what I mean? WandaVision did it. Just let him do what he got to do. Let him rip, run, and zip. That's all. Who has the better speed CGI, though? Fox, MCU, or DC? MCU. Fox joint is pretty clean. But MCU as a whole does it better. I just think that's. But again, the other thing about this is, again, they put a lot of money into doing this movie, into making this work. Steppenwolf looks incredible. Like for real, if you watch this joint and you go back and you watch the other joint, I don't care if you watch it in 4K, 1080p, whatever. Like it looks
like garbage.
It looks bad. It looks really bad. So yeah, I mean.
I do want to go back and look at the other one just to torture myself.
I won't go as far as calling this vindication for Snyder, because I really don't know that what we got in the Snyder cut at 4 hours long is what we actually would have gotten in a theatrical release. I don't believe we would have anyway. You know what I mean?
No, we wouldn't have.
So I don't know that what we actually would have gotten had Snyder been able to finish the film would be better than what Whedon did. If you consider what they would have had to done to cut it and chop it and budgets and whatever else. But having HBO Max as a place where you can do it, that means a lot. You're right. Those Omega beans. Again, I also listen, Darkseid was a sucker. He should have marched through that portal. Let's not get into that. All right, so listen. since we're talking about WB and DC characters and so forth, jokes.
Yo,
What's up with this Kate Kane recast?
so that was so left field. Like I hadn't watched the episode yet, and when I saw that, because without clearly the Kate Kane, she disappeared in the show. That's what they did to take the character out, and so they could have the new Batwoman come in. But as the few episodes were going past, what was weird to me was the fact that they acknowledged where she was and how they could get her back. So I was thinking at first, like, okay, they're just going to let that just dangle. It's just going to hang there, and eventually somehow they'll resolve that. Mm-hmm. But literally, somebody went to where she was, and she came out, and it wasn't like a subtle thing. Like, this is just a full on, what's up? Like. So this bothers me because I hope there's not a plan to then officially switch it back to Kate being the main character and then taking back and being Batwoman. Cause this whole flip-flopping thing is not where it's gonna be at. Like, you didn't establish we're gonna have this new Batwoman, she's here to stay, she's gonna be the main character, the main focus. Oh nah, Kate's back.
It's confusing.
I mean, they're probably making a mistake. The young lady they cast, Wallace Day, was on the show Krypton.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, I mean, I missed it, but apparently there was a huge push by fans for her to take the role when Ruby Rose was removed or whatever it is that actually happened. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of people pushing for her to take the role. And so who knows? Like, maybe they're Kate's
possibly.
And I wouldn't be upset with that. I mean, possibly having the Kate character come back. You know what? I get it. You know, it's a good thing because you know what, within the realm of Batman, the whole universe, she's a major character. I get that, but I hope it's just that they don't try to now force her back into the limelight because they went ahead and recasted her. I just think that would be I think that would be such a disservice to what it was you were trying to do. Like, if she comes back and she, just like you say, and she becomes the Oracle, she becomes that extra body that they have that's helping out, doing certain things. She can still use the connections that she has. And you know what? They'll still always tie her to being Bruce's cousin. So if they ever wanted to bring the Bruce Wayne back into Batwoman or do whatever, give him his own show. We got Superman show now, but
she can still maneuver through all the shows because she has that relationship with all those characters from Crisis. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, but it's weird. That whole thing where when EW did their shots, you know, prepping for what was coming, like they actually digitally removed.
They took her out of Crisis
from the images. Yeah, like from Crisis, like they removed her, which again is probably something contractual. Mm-hmm. And there may have been something else they had to deal with on that end before they could make this happen. You would think that they would have pushed to make it, but again, maybe something with Krypton was still up in the air. You know what I mean? And her still being involved in that. You know, it's tricky. Again, there's a lot that's happening over at WB and CW with anything DC and Warner Brothers that is very tricky and kind of up in the air no matter what. Like, I'm just,
and that's true.
I don't know. Let's see. You know what, Greg, you're right. Original content is the driver of this new digital streaming business. Original content, well funded, with an already fan base of millions. So, yeah. And on that note, Sin, did you watch the trailer for Them?
Yeah, I watched it. That's about all I'm gonna watch of it.
I'll watch the show.
That's about all I'm gonna watch of it. You already knew the answer to that.
About to mess you up, try to show you an anime, and that joint gonna play instead of the anime.
And halfway through the trailer, I was like, "Yep, this won't be on my screen."
Yeah, Them is real interesting. I mean, Amazon original. Mm-hmm. That trailer is fire though. Like, that trailer is fire.
I thought it was a movie until the end of it when it said it was a TV series.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
the thing that I think is going to be a little is interesting. The the trick with that, I mean, this has potential to be Lovecraft Country for Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
True.
There is a lot of potential for this to be that. The time period, what's happening,
the supernatural elements.
Yeah, like it.
So
there's
much
a lot
going on
of
in that trailer.
Yeah.
For this to be that, and it's coming out April 9th. There isn't a whole lot of information on it, just yet, but I think it's gonna be one to keep our eye on, realistically. That's probably the biggest thing that's happening on Amazon Prime in the next month or so.
It's definitely horror.
You know it. Yep.
That is not for sin.
Since saw the first, probably saw the 10 seconds of that first trailer and was like, "Oh, this is not for me."
I watched. I was like, "Okay, we just saw the horror elements coming out." I was like, "Yep, checking out."
It probably doesn't hit till like halfway through the trailer, or something like that, and then it gets a little spooky.
Yeah, like y'all got that. I'm good.
Seems like nah, that's enough of that. I can't.
Nope.
Yeah. I just think it's one to keep your eye on. If you haven't seen the trailer for Them, just search Them trailer, Amazon Prime. Take a look at it. I think that's going to be one to watch.
Yes, Robert.
It is called Them.
It's just called them. Like there's us.
We got us,
and there's them. Yeah.
So hey, you know what? You know when they always say, you know what? They always say that. This is like the people right here.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't seen anything. I looked at it. I haven't seen anything that actually shows that it is related to us.
Us, yeah.
I'm not sure, but I haven't seen anything that says that. I would think that they would immediately have called that out.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't see any names that were associated with us. I don't see any. This is definitely coattail riding, sir.
Oh yeah. I'm waiting for the next one to come out. Like
right.
Right.
We're gonna make this a thing.
And they're gonna do y'all.
Yep.
Y'all. Not y'all.
Y'all.
Say it with your chest, y'all.
So check this out. Hawkeye spinoff series. We don't even have Hawkeye series yet. Okay? They are already talking about a Hawkeye spinoff series. It's called Echo, which is based on a character that has worked with Hawkeye, but also has worked with like Daredevil, other characters like is in that universe. And she's deaf. She's like a Native American deaf character. So the idea that they're already planning a spinoff show for a show we haven't gotten yet, I think says a lot.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit more I think is worth reading into this because, and we're going to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier in a minute. That's coming up next. But so there was talk last week about them possibly pushing back Black Widow again.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Which is gonna piss me off.
I'm already pissed off, and it hasn't even happened yet.
It's gonna piss me off. There are absolutely things that happen in the Black Widow movie that are going to have effects in the future of the phase that we're in. There's no two ways about it. What's up, Kidlet?
Hey.
So you're right, Ellis. She is a mutant. That is one thing that is super important about this. Echo is a mutant.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, we could be getting the introduction of mutants in Hawkeye. It probably would come before that.
Right, but we should be seeing it in Hawkeye if they're keeping her true to her mutant roots.
But here's the thing. There isn't any talk of Echo being in Hawkeye just yet.
Okay.
What we do know is that Florence, who plays Yelena Belova in Black Widow, is in Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
And in the comics, Yelena takes over as Black Widow.
Right.
We've had discussions about this. Black
Right.
Widow is dead, but that doesn't mean Black Widow is gone.
Right.
Marcus.
They have basically decided to put a new Black Widow in place. That's what I'm seeing. Now, I did some digging because that's what I do.
Okay.
Stupid Marcus.
What's wrong with you, Marcus? What'd you say, Ellis? Isn't a default move for every MCU fan? Yes, Ellis, yes. But realistically, we don't like this is the first time. I mean, there were good reasons to predict that we could see mutants show up in a WandaVision show.
Right.
Just based on House of M.
Right.
There is no real reason to predict that they'll show up in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but people are doing it anyway.
Hey.
Right.
We have
Left
confirmation of a spinoff being in the works already for Hawkeye. And we know that the character that they are specifically talking about doing a standalone spinoff show for is a mutant.
A mutant.
Mm-hmm. I think it's safe to,
They're
speculate
planning. They're
on this
just
one. Yeah.
They're just throwing the seed. Like this is like the well. This seed has been planted very nicely, and we've already watered it very nicely to just let it grow a little bit.
Speculation is never safe for
Stop
the
it,
MCU. However, it is the most fun thing about it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, mutants could absolutely show up in Spider-Man or in Doctor Strange
Or Mandalorian season 3.
Yes, or Mandalorian season 3. Listen, they could show up in Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings.
True.
Like you really, there are any number of ways they can introduce them.
Right.
Especially because the multiverse does exist. Like there's any to do it. This is the first time we've gotten confirmation of a character within the MCU that is a mutant that isn't Quicksilver or Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, we do now have Speed and Wiccan, but because we have a side story that offshoot explains where they came from or whatever, you can't really count them the same way.
Right.
We're absolutely getting Secret are we getting Secret Invasion of Mutants first? They're happening at the same time, which is part of the problem. I am positive they're happening at the same time because Secret Invasion, though it will be a show, all of those seeds are going to get planted in everything else that we're getting. Those seeds are already being planted. That started in Captain Marvel. There's no reason to introduce Skrulls unless you're doing Secret Invasion. So that's clearly happening. What matters now is whether or not Secret Invasion leads to Fantastic Four and Super Skrull. Like that's like, you know what I mean? So here's the thing. The fact that Florence Pugh is playing Yelena Belova in Hawkeye, and last week we got the timetable for the Avengers game, and the next event that they're doing is one called the Red Room. And in that event circles around Yelena Belova.
Yeah,
They're trying to put her character out
She's
there.
Black Widow.
They're
She's
putting
Black
their character
Widow.
out there, getting people all over the board.
They announced that at the same time that they said we're going to be doing more stuff to bring outfits and stuff like that in that match MCU.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
I see what you doing.
Like how we got Taskmaster when it started.
Bro. They
That
made
was her.
Taskmaster
That
a
was
big
supposed
deal.
to line up perfectly. When Black Widow was going to drop and they was dropping the event, those Jones were supposed to align perfectly.
It was supposed to make Taskmaster a threat. And have you understand why and where Taskmaster comes from. Taskmaster is probably one of the corniest characters ever made. Just based on his name alone. His name is corny.
But outside of that, he a savage. He's savage.
I'm just ready for the movie, man. My man mimicking everybody. I need this. I need to see my man chucking that shield. I don't know how you upset.
Neither do I.
I really don't.
But this is a Superman fan, so
true.
Explanations. See what happens when we get explanations when things are told the right way.
So I mean, look, let's do it. Let's talk. We got like 20 minutes left. Let's talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. No spoilers. How you gonna do that? I don't know. We gonna make it happen. I have no idea.
It's what we do.
This is what we do.
This is what we do.
Dance around.
Hey, look, I don't know what Ty talking about. That thing was fire. I'm sorry.
Wait.
I don't think he didn't like it. I think he's upset at probably what happened at the end of it. That's where I'm going. Right now,
I can understand.
The internet is on fire with the new ugly Captain America U.S. agent, dog. Like, it just is what it is. We not having.
My man hasn't done anything. He just appears.
J. Robert Deans, he did enough. Taskmaster. You love Taskmaster? Because I feel like that's going far. Now, his power set is pretty clean though. Like, I'm not,
right.
Oh, you know what? Before we go any further, while I'm thinking about it, I have to talk bad about Spider-Man for a second.
Wait, what?
Stop.
Yeah, that's why we.
Whoa.
All right.
I'm so happy this is being recorded.
Can I tell y'all? So they did a marathon of the first 3 Spider-Man films, like over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest was watching them, and my mother reached out to me, and she said, "Yeah, I was watching that first Spider-Man. I don't remember Spider-Man. I don't remember his webs coming out of his skin. Yeah, that's not a thing. It's a thing. It happened briefly in the comics. It's not a real thing. It is the worst and most disgusting thing. No.
Okay.
That is absolutely the worst thing they did with the Tobey Maguire trilogy is make spider webs organic. It's disgusting, and it shouldn't happen. And it takes away from the brilliance that is the mind of Peter Parker. This is a child in high school who figured out how to replicate spider silk. Scientists have been working on it for decades and can't do it. And my man did it like Iron Man in a cave. Like Tony Stark built this. Like,
what scraps?
Peter Parker. Peter Parker picked a peck of pickled peppers and built and made web shooters that mimic spider silk from his mind as a teenager in his garage. Brilliant. The worst thing they ever did.
So you just had to get that off your chest.
I will accept that bashing.
It's been a very long time since I had a chance to express my disgust for
I will accept that
because I'll be real with you. I had wiped it from my memory.
Okay.
And then you got reminded about it.
Dredged it up.
Got it. Brought it back up to the surface.
Yeah. I will say that was more because when I saw it in the theater, if I remember right, I was with my dad, and my dad, not what at the time wasn't the biggest Spider-Man fan, but my dad was like, "That's wrong, isn't it?" And I was like, "I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, Dad."
You should have. Should have. Yeah, that was so disgusting. Yeah, I needed a moment while it was on my mind. I needed to get that out of my system. All right, so Falcon and Winter Soldier, right?
Cool.
Ty, if you can do it without small, okay, so hold on. Why is Falcon? Why is he broke? Hey, listen, man. Why is he broke? That's the witness protection for you for this? For him. And he's broke because Tony Stark is dead.
Yeah.
Tony Stark is dead.
He's broke. He's broke.
Gone 5 years.
5 years. He's broke because even when he wasn't dead, all he was doing was like putting in time at the VA office. Like, I don't know what that dude was doing. He wasn't currently working for the military.
And remember, he was on the run with Cap for a while.
For a while.
Yeah, they ain't had no bread.
Yeah.
They may have had a little pocket wallet somewhere.
Like, yeah, I'm going with you. Like,
yeah,
Fury offered him the option of, I'm gonna stick with him. So they just off like for real. I don't know how they was eating.
I'm pretty sure after Civil War, Tony cut off the Amex account for them. Like, you know what? Nah.
Marcus, that's fighting.
What?
Like, no.
What?
No.
No, I can't be going on One Piece or HSE.
No.
Hey, look, Marcus want to fight. I swear he do.
Hey, listen. Hold on, man.
Just know I'm supporting One Piece
Straight
till
up.
the day.
They was running.
But until they say that Luffy himself is the One Piece, if they do that, Sin, just know.
They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. Nah.
Just remember I said that. Just remember that.
You know he already has it done. It's already written in the vote.
I know.
Hey, Ty, what you mean you can't accept that? What do you mean you can't accept that? What do you think? How do you think superheroes get paid? I just want to know. Like, I want to listen. I know you a DC guy, okay? We know Superman has a job at the Daily Planet, okay? We know Batman already has millions.
Hey.
He don't actually have a job either.
Barry Allen's a CSI.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Barry Allen's working a decent job.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is Falcon's job? I'm gonna wait.
He has no job. He has grants.
No, I'm not talking to you, Jokes. I'm talking to Ty. I'm gonna wait.
I don't think anybody in the Avengers.
You don't have to get paid when you're an Avenger. When Tony Stark is paying,
financing everything.
Yeah,
my building here. You gotta stay here.
There's food here. That's the problem. And listen, I'm good with that. I'm good with the fact that that's the problem. Like, nobody ever questioned it until now. And I think that part of what's great about this, what Marvel has always done really well is ground their characters in things that people in real life have to deal with. They come from real places and have to deal with real things. Peter Parker got to go figure out how to make money, selling pictures of himself, fighting crime to somebody who don't like the person he's taking pictures of.
Somebody need to
can't get a date, gets a date, can't go on a date, got to go fight some crime. Like, those are real things that are happening to them in their lives. And this is, again, I don't want to get too far in he was in the military before the Avengers, so he spent his pension. Like, what you want me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and like we said,
like he was in it, he wasn't in the joint. He not old, like he ain't been in the joint for 20 years. Yeah. Came out the joint and got a full retirement.
And it's like we said earlier, he was on the run, a fugitive before he got blipped away.
My man,
like,
so my man was making no money.
Yeah,
no money.
And my man
he was a fugitive. Like,
he was going in and listening to people. You know what I'm saying, in the VA office. You know what I mean? Let's get that. What up, Jeff? I mean, y'all talking too much. I can't even catch up with y'all. Right. Falcon's backstory was the first we've gotten on those secondary Avengers that made him so much more relevant. I completely agree.
Yep, 100%.
So being able to take what has happened to him as a member of the team who actually did get blipped away, right? But who did actually have a relatively regular life before any of this happened, right? Military, has a little place to live, staying in DC. So he got to have some money because my man staying in DC, it's expensive to live there.
That's not true.
But like working at the DA office, or not at the DA office, at the VA, you know what I mean? Like trying to help people work through their issues and things like that. Asking Cap to come in and volunteer and talk to people, that kind of thing. Like, you never really see what his job is, but getting the opportunity in this to see what it means to his family and get a little bit more of a read on how people feel who were left during the blip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That idea, like we talked about it with WandaVision when Hayward was talking about, you people who left.
Yeah.
He said that to Monica, like, you people who left, like they did it by choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is anger and frustration with people having gone and come back, right? People who tried to make amends with the idea that they were gone and they were never coming back, that there was no winning, that things didn't change, right? The fact that Thanos was wrong, that his whole point was we'll take away half the people and
everything will be peachy.
And it didn't at all. He was completely wrong about it. So people suffered during that time frame. What Falcon and Winter Soldier is leaning on is this whole group, the Flag Smashers, are a group of people who believe that things were better during the blip because they had one government, one world. Everybody's on the same team. And it's like all these people get blipped back and all of these borders are back up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree, Jeff. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The blip is meaningful, and it should be. It's not a thing that they should just throw away and act like it didn't really happen. Now we're moving on to other things in the comics. This is one of the things that I love about comic books is that things that happen way back have things that reverberate continuously through all the rest of the books because it's part of the history. And we don't just throw that away. Oh snap! New Day dressed like Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
You missed, bro. They've been doing that for the past few weeks now. You a little late.
I don't like it.
They've been doing that since they announced the movie.
I agree, Jeff. Like I said, it does. It gives that comic book feel where there are repercussions to what has happened, what has come before, right? Like I can remember when I really started reading comic books seriously. When I was in about the 8th grade, give or take, and picking up books where I'm not starting from issue number 1. You can't even find issue number 1. You know what I mean? Like I'm starting from issue 300 and something or whatever it is,
right?
And I remember like reading through, and you get to a panel, and there's a little yellow box that says like something like as happened in issue number such and such, you know, whatever. And I'm like, what? So they're referencing stuff that happened years ago. You know what I mean? Issues upon issues upon issues ago. That kind of a thing is integral, I believe, now to what the MCU is, to what they're doing, right? That they are building something that you don't necessarily have to go back and watch the first Iron Man. But if you do, there will be so much more meaning in everything else that you watch.
Yeah.
Right. And these shows, this is if Kevin Feige had been given control over Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., this is what we would have gotten.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Tie-ins would be much more realistic. And I think that's super important. Should be easier now with the net, but they just wipe it. Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. As they make things simpler for new readers, they do the same thing here. So by having the MCU happen in phases, there are people who are jumping now for the first time. Jokes. What did we just find out about Falcon and Winter Soldier?
What? Like, how long? Oh, the most watched premiere on Disney Plus.
Period. That means way more people watch this than watch WandaVision. Way more. Right? So this was, for a lot of people, might be the first thing they've seen.
True.
Right?
Boy, that's some catching up.
I know,
you
right?
You gotta remember that there are people who their first movie was Black Panther. They were into it. They didn't care before that. First movie was Black Panther. Everything that happened up to that, right? Like, where this dude come from, blah, 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 whatever. Go watch Civil War. Because his origin story is basically in Civil War.
Right.
Spider-Man's origin story, basically in Civil War. Just threw it all in there for you. It's one of the reasons why Civil War is one of the most well-done movies of our history, of our time. Like, just because there's so much there. We are not really spoiling Doctor Who, but you're on mute, so you don't know I'm saying that. So,
read lips. Read lips.
Let's see. Hold on. So, they should have made the uninhabitable planets inhabitable. That would expand resources by over 60%. Yeah, I mean, realistically, the reason why Thanos is a villain and is a good villain is because what makes a good villain is that all villains believe they're doing the right thing. All of them. All villains believe they're doing the right thing. There is no such thing as a villain who doesn't think they're doing the right. Like, all right, I shouldn't say that. The Joker is a villain who knows he's not doing the right thing. He doesn't care. There's a difference. Like, he's just a psychopath. There's a little bit there's a difference there. But like, what makes a really good, poignant villain is one who believes they're doing the right thing. Killmonger, Thanos, right? Flag Smashers believe that they're doing the right thing. Believe that they're fighting for a unified world, right? This is how it should be. Everybody should be on the same page. One money, one whatever, like all of that, right? So Thanos, though, being willing to do whatever it takes to get the gauntlet and get all the stones to fix the universe. I'm trying to fix the universe. I'm going to save the universe by getting all they had to do is double the resources. You have the reality gem. You can make it so nobody's ever hungry again. Mm-hmm. You can make it so everybody has a place to live. There is nothing.
Hell, you could have made a planet. Yeah. You could have made a planet bigger. You could have increased the size of the planet. All those extra resources.
There was a lot of other options on the table.
There's so many other options on the table. So many other options on the table than just getting rid of half of the living populace throughout the entire universe. That's evil. You know what I'm saying? Like that's evil. And you can understand there's a level of understanding in the conquest is we will kill any and everybody that gets in the way on our way to get what we need to get in order to fix what's wrong with the entire universe. Mm-hmm. And when you do that and you pull it out of the context that was the comic books where literally it's just like, I just want to impress Mistress Death. I'm trying to get some.
Lame.
Make it a little more important than that, right?
Yeah. Hey, like Jeffrey said,
I just
want my boy. That's
you know what I mean?
I just want my boy.
It's very different. Yeah. Whiplash just want his bird. Hashtag Thanos was right. You stupid, Ellis. Yeah. I mean, Ellis, do you also believe that Killmonger was right? I would love to hear that.
Hey, you know what's a weird comparison though? You could say
trying to fix the universe. Yeah.
You know what you say is a weird comparison to say like Thanos is right. How like you just said, it's the same way that Bruce thought it was right by not sequentializing Vision's things to set up for it. Same type of thing. Why didn't you guys just do it sequentially?
What'd you say, Greg? All the other options would have required much more effort. How?
What? He just had to snap.
Snap his fingers.
All he had to do was snap his fingers.
What do you want him to clap?
He didn't even have a two-step. He don't snap a two-step. He just got snapped. How's that harder?
Maybe he'd have had to do the I don't know, lean with a rock. I don't know. Something extra.
Yeah, do a TikTok dance.
A little something extra, and then hit the snap.
Oh man. Hey, listen.
No, Red Skull was pissed. I can't have it. Like
facts.
Power I can't attain, but I can lead you to it.
What we're seeing in Falcon and Winter Soldier, in my opinion, is them leaning again on what makes a very interesting and good villain or a group of villains is that they believe that they're doing the right thing. And there are people who will like feel their motivations. Like you absolutely feel their motivations, right?
And also humanizing the two main characters in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there is something to like when you humanize Thanos by actually showing that he actually did care about Gamora.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ruthless as he might have been, right? Hold on. Barton, what up, man? Listen, more resources would create more war. I disagree. Because you literally, you have the reality stone. The only thing that's left to fight over, see, people fight over resources because there's not enough of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you create infinite resources, if the resources never run out, there's nothing to fight over.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's nothing to fight over. Like you don't need money. You don't it doesn't matter anymore. Right? So you snap your fingers. Here's everything. Everybody be happy. We never run out of space. Like you can literally just make it. Yeah, as the populace grows, the planet just gets larger. Like there's there's no like. Again,
you can do anything you want.
Did you see what he was doing? Like, did he not turn people into ribbons and like my man was? You can do whatever you want.
Oh God.
He realistically probably only needed to have the reality stone and could have fixed everything. One stone. That's all I'm saying. Like,
jokes, get your boy.
I mean, here's the thing, Greg. He didn't solve the problem.
Nope.
He didn't solve the problem.
He created a whole new one.
He was trying to fix what happened to his own planet. There wasn't enough resources. He proposed, let's get rid of half of the population. It's going to be random. There's no favoritism or nothing.
Right.
Let's get rid of half the population so there's enough. They didn't do it. His planet ends up in shambles. Guess what? He got rid of half the populace in the entire universe, and it didn't work. Everything was still in shambles. You all of a sudden don't have enough people to move ships out of the harbor. The sheer amount of depression that you have caused for all the people on the planet. You can't, like, it didn't work, right? It's not thought through from a manner that is actually about really fixing it. It's just about, it really is about, he had an idea, nobody listened to him, so now I want to do that idea to the whole universe. Because nobody listened to me. So now we're just going to do it. But it wasn't like, let's actually see if this would make sense or if this would work, right? Once you get the reality stone, go to one planet, do it on one planet, see what happens.
Do a test run.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying, right?
Just test run it.
It wasn't you, right? Thanos did not care about mental health care.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I like Heather, that bank scene. Hey, listen, you should be mad about the bank scene, Heather. And again, I'm trying to avoid spoilers.
Nope.
Yeah.
But realistically, you should be mad about it. And that's what they want. They want you to feel mad. They want you to feel the racial tension. They want you to feel like, oh man, yeah, let's take pictures and all that. But yeah, we can't help you.
Can't help you.
We know your family been coming here for decades.
They're hitting you here to get you involved.
Generations.
They're hitting you right there to get you involved.
Can't help you.
You're right. Ebony Maw was a yes man, but he also was afraid of Thanos. You're right. In Endgame, he did realize it didn't work. He still wanted the stones, and he was going to do something different, but it wasn't going to be right. He was still angry. He was still mad. Like, you would think once he realized that what he did didn't work, he'd be like, all right, well, we got to do something different.
Nah.
Just wage an entire war on the populace. You know what I mean? Like,
It's going to destroy the stones.
It's just it's a whole thing. Again, it's just one of those, it's that same idea of like Killmonger wasn't wrong mentally in terms of how he felt. He was wrong in what he was going to do with the power he managed to wield. Because once he became the king of Wakanda, he could have done all the things that Black Panther, all the things he was mad that they never did. Share your resources. Come out here and help your people. Nah, let's give weapons to everybody that we got out here and let's just start shooting people. Let's just go start a war. We about to take over. That's not right. That's dumb. Literally, Killmonger was just Hitler. Literally, just Hitler.
Yeah, put it like that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Just a guy. Let's just go wage war. Let's put them in camp. Let's do to them what they did to us. Let's two wrongs make a right. It like that's not how it works. Like that's not right. But you can feel the humanization of a character like Killmonger because of what he went through.
Right.
He is acting and reacting out of anger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sure. Or Trump. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was. I mean, again, I'm trying to save the universe is kind of like a nah, but I'm angry because they didn't listen to me. You know what I mean? You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Killmonger only knew one way to fix issues. He
coming for you.
He was angry, so he went at it from an angry disposition. Right? Then he got the power, and for a lot of people, once you wield power, it overwhelms you, and it makes you do things with it that aren't necessarily the way that you should do it. You know what?
That would be something Tony would do, though. He's like, so yeah, you remember the time that you fought me and like you hit me with your shield that technically my dad gave you? Yeah.
Right.
Your allowance is cut.
Hey, look,
my man literally said, that's not your shield. Give me back your shield.
Look, I'm pretty sure as soon as they walked away, he told Jarvis to cut them off from everything.
Right up.
Dog.
As soon as they walked away.
Cut those credit cards off.
Yep. Drain their bank accounts the whole 9 yards.
I think, again, like listening to them talk about how it's not like, yeah, we live on goodwill. You know what I mean? It's a big deal. Killmonger was also a great statement on what happens if you only train young people to just be good soldiers and not also problem solvers. Agreed. Killmonger was a soldier who was given kudos for being a killer.
Killmonger.
Marking himself
Yeah.
every time he took a life. Does not care what it takes to get to where he wants to get, to right the wrong that he feels like needs to be righted. Still trying to right a wrong. Not different from Thanos. Willing to take every life that's in the way in order to do it. Now, there was a test case. I need to read. There was a test case because Gamora's planet was a test case for Thanos. Right? He came to her and was like, your planet, your people are thriving. I went there and we killed half the population. Your planet is thriving. It works for them.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it worked in other places.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't tailor that to each specific planet.
Exactly.
You gotta look at what they're going through and their issues and all kind of stuff and make a fix for that planet, then move on to the next one. Right.
Earth is always an anomaly. Anything you try to do on Earth is just not either it's not gonna work or it's gonna work too well.
You know, is one of the most sympathetic MCU villain. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Because if you can consider her a villain, which I'm not completely positive you can consider her a villain at the moment.
I'm with that.
I think that I think that in and of itself, not necessarily even being able to consider her a villain.
Yeah.
There is easily a town that considers her a villain. I think she probably is the most sympathetic though, or may end up being the most sympathetic villain if that turns out to be the case. I think that that's what it boils down to in the comics. You know what I mean? That just like her distress and what she's capable of doing is a real reason for people to be afraid of people like her and what they can do and how powerful they can be. It is a use case for the government to implement things like what we see them do to mutants. Let's put collars on them. You know what I mean? Because it's possible. I mean, that definitely is a real thing. Ellis Gamora's a trash daughter.
He's having fun with Gamora right now.
Gamora's an absolute animal. She's played way down in the MCU. Way down. You're right, Tony. Killmonger was a merc. Not necessarily a good soldier, but at the same time, he was probably doing what he was told.
Mm-hmm.
He may have only been told, get the job done. We don't care how you do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All means. Whatever means you need to do it.
Whatever it takes.
J. Robert Dean. So yeah. Showrunner for WandaVision is the writer for Black Widow. Made me more excited for Black Widow. Listen, I'm amped for Black Widow just because I really believe that there are things that they are hiding from us in that movie.
There's a piece of the story that we're missing.
Witness protection is in WandaVision, dog. I'm sorry, it's in Black Widow.
Black Widow. Maybe that's where it leads to. And you know what? Because they didn't introduce them, it was like, we kind of gotta keep them out of. Right. Hey, that's actually a good theory right there. That's a good one right there.
Thanos was a conqueror, but I don't think Thanos is not a conqueror like anything close to what we are about to see.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kang, the Conqueror, is coming. It's official. It's official. And more or less, that means we have to get Iron Lad. Straight up. Let's see. Hold on.
Yeah.
In order to get the Soul Stone, you have to give up a life. Did Steve get a person's life for giving back the stone? Like, was he given a life? Maybe he was given his own. And Black Widow could be in witness protection, but I doubt it because I think she could protect herself. Like, I don't think she needs. WandaVision, from a writer's perspective, was amazing, especially from the focus on how folks handle grief and PTSD. Again, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, J. Robert Dean, you need to be watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier because I can tell you right now, the way that they are handling what is happening with Winter Soldier is right along those lines.
Right along lines, the same thing.
Absolutely along those lines. There is a focus there. I don't think that this is not a spoiler, but there is a focus there that takes into consideration the fact that for 90 years, that man has just been a killer. Just go do this. And literally the only piece that he has gotten was the small, brief moment of time that he spent in Wakanda. That was it. And if you go back and you watch that scene where they went and they got him at the end, and he was like, all right, when they bring him the arm and he's like, where's the action? You can see that he's blown. Like he had this, he was experiencing these moments of peace that he had never gotten to have before. Then he got blipped. And came right back into probably the biggest war of ever. Like, it's crazy to think about
what they've gone through mentally.
Everybody has gone through, from those who did get blipped to those who didn't get blipped. Now that they are back, and the way that they are handling it from a writing perspective and showing it to you, it's brilliant.
I love it. Yeah,
it's brilliant.
I love them playing up the blip and all these different aspects of it. I love it.
Should be able to watch it tomorrow. Hey, listen, finish your book, because that's important.
Book.
Yes.
Finish your book. Jeff, do we need Dr. Doom?
Nope.
I don't think we need Doom.
No, I'd rather play up the Super Scroll with them coming and have Fantastic Four deal with
somewhere down the road. I would like to see Dr. Doom, but I don't think he's that necessity thing that we just need to pull out of the woodwork right now. Like,
we don't need it.
He could definitely be a threat. There's no two ways about that, but I need him to make sense. Like, if it's going to be the Fantastic Four, whoop-de-doo, but you can pull Dr. Doom in and honestly put him in the middle of almost anything. Mutant-wise, you could have him squaring off with someone in that realm. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Fantastic Four.
Facts. I don't Hey, look, man, they could introduce Doom. No, Fox is who's screwing that up. Fox is who's screwing that up. That's Fox that has Fantastic or had Fantastic Four. They don't have it. Let's go here. So let's see. Not right away. Not like we need Magneto right away when X-Men show up. I don't want to listen. Let me reiterate this. I do not want to see the X-Men at all. I don't want to see the X-Men at all. I don't want them to touch the X-Men. I don't want them to do Xavier. I just introduce mutants. There are so many mutants, so many people, so many powers that are not people tied to the X-Men. Give me Excalibur. We already did have X-Force. Like, give me anybody else. Like, real talk, give me Alpha Flight. Give me a Canadian team, dog. Give me Alpha Flight. You know what I mean? Like, if you can make let me soapbox this. Ant-Man's not cool.
No.
Period. Ant-Man is not cool. That's one of the best movies released in the life. That joint got a sequel. Like, there is potential for them to take characters that are such side. Realistically, the Avengers aren't cool. They weren't cool. Nobody cared. The X-Men were the team.
Yeah.
They made them cool.
Hey, look what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians, good one.
Yeah. What they do with Guardians.
All right, listen. Hey, Ellis. Listen.
Damn, oh, my man.
Hey, Ellis. You gonna leave Spider-Man out of this? You hear me, dog?
The radio, boy.
You hear me?
Right.
We not. It's time for love talking slow jams. Hey, bro. You leave. Listen. What do you want the X-Men? You really want the X-Men? No. Why you want the X-Men? I don't want the X-Men. We've seen it and it's done.
If you want to do X-Men, if you're gonna do X-Men, all I need you to do is throw Deadpool in and just let Deadpool just make reference to, oh, what happened to do with the claws? What happened to the chick that can do all the electricity and the lightning and all that? Deadpool can do it. We know they exist, and keep it moving.
Hey, look, on facts, like Guardians. Yeah, I know you don't like Guardians, J. Robert Deans. Guardians in the comics was, whether you liked it or not, still super second string. Easy. Third string, maybe. Like, I read comics for years, could care less about the Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I mean? And X-Men went through that too. You know what I mean? Like, I happened to come into comics when Jim Lee was drawing.
Same here.
Claremont was doing this thing. Like I came into the X-Men like right before Blue and Gold teams. Like, I came into the X-Men in its actual prime. Like, there was There was a prime for that, but I came in and
that Jim Lee run was something amazing.
Sick, bruh.
Something amazing. Yeah.
Sick, bruh. Cause Jubilee's garbage, but not really. Like you know what? Like you can introduce Jubilee for me right now. You could introduce Jubilee into the MCU, and I'd be okay with that. Because she doesn't have to be the stupid little kid that she was. Mm-hmm. They really tried to take Jubilee and make her what Shadowcat, what Kitty Pryde was when she first came in as the kid. You know what I mean? Like, they both had like Wolverine as a mentor. Like, we don't. The X-Men can exist, right? In the same way that they technically exist in Deadpool, like the Mansion exists, Colossus is a person. Like, you can give me one or two of them or something like that somewhere. We don't need another X-Men movie. We just don't. I don't want Cyclops. I don't want Cyclops. I don't even really want Storm. But I could take Storm without the rest of them. You know what I mean? Like, we're so past who those characters are and what they can do and whatever. And there are so many other characters that they could focus on.
I mean, would you take Cyclops if they did Death of X?
No. No. Listen, if they lead to like an Avengers versus X-Men, maybe. Maybe. You know what I mean? But I think that here's the thing. If they decide to do X-Men, they have to steer away. The mistakes that Fox made really were about either trying to get people that were too famous already or people becoming famous after they got those roles and then trying to make those movies. Like, as great, First Class that's a solid film. First Class is a dope movie. The issue with the films after that are the fact that Jennifer Lawrence became so famous, they had to make those movies about her. They had to focus on her, and Mystique should not be the focus of an X-Men movie.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Period. And that's where you run into the issues.
Decision that they could have ever.
That's where you run into the issues. She's a side character. Let her be a side character. Yes, there are moments that she plays that are important, but she's a side character. If they give me Rogue, and I mean real Rogue,
yes,
they can give me Mystique. She can grab Captain Marvel,
yes,
yank the mobilities and get them full-fledged. Sure, I'll take it
all day.
I'll take it. You know, I'll take it. But like, yeah, Mystique was trash, and Mystique was trash because Jennifer Lawrence. And I don't care how you feel about her acting ability or whatever. That's not really the point. The point is they tried to focus on her,
right?
Because Hunger Games, Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah,
she's like literally one of the top paid. She's like the most requested, highest paid actress at the time, and they have her already tied into a contract with these movies. Now we need to make these joints about her.
Yeah,
right. She's the one that's going to sell tickets, and you basically have her. You have it already written in this woman's contract that she's basically naked the whole time. We better use that. That's what happened.
That's absolutely what happened.
I feel like X-Men is important because we're still having a racist world, but I think they should do it from like the beginning with a small group 4 or 5. MLK, Malcolm X, parallels between Xavier and Magneto. Here's the thing. All of that stuff still exists without you having to touch the X-Men. It all still exists. It's already pointing.
You can take any of the teams.
Watch Falcon and Winter Soldier right now. It already exists, right? That dividing line between people who have powers and people who don't is already a thing that's starting to happen in WandaVision. It's already a thing. That's the fact alone, like that's seeded all the way back in Iron Man, right? Like Iron Man trying to protect the planet because there are aliens and whatever. Like we just made this discovery that there are these beings that have powers and can do things that aren't normal for our planet, right? There's a reason for people to be scared. There's a reason for people to dislike. There's a reason for people to hate. Those things already exist. I don't actually feel like you need to try to draw or retread the parallels between MLK and Malcolm X and Magneto and Professor X. I don't think that's necessary. I think you've already treaded that water with Black Panther, right? Like it doesn't get much clearer than Colonizer. Like it's just like, you know what I mean? Like for all of those things that do exist, I do believe they are capable of writing stories that don't require them to use those characters to tell that story. Period. I just think it makes sense.
If we do get the X-Men back, I wouldn't want them anytime soon. Like I'm talking like 10, possibly 20 years down the line. Let these old ones fade away into the distance, and then bring them back down the line.
Yeah, we wouldn't see them at least until Phase 5, and I would say because obviously with things going cosmic, I mean obviously the X-Men can do a cosmic type thing, but I think until they decide to come back and ground it more, there's no need to really pull them back in.
Yeah, mutants, yes, but we don't need the X-Men.
We got a Spider-Man reboot because the people who played him before were old. Because the stories that they told didn't tie in. And the X-Men are not integral to telling that story. Again, look at any offshoot, quote unquote, X-Men comic. X Factor. Again, Excalibur. There are so many stories about mutants. There are so many characters that can tell those stories. You don't have to have X-Men. But here's the thing. If you want X-Men, who do you want? Who do you have to have? Do we need to replace? Do we do another Wolverine? Do we need another Storm? Because we've done it already again. We've already done another Storm.
Yeah, we have.
2.
Right? We know we're getting a movie called The Mutants. It's coming. That in and of itself, to me, says we're not focusing on X-Men. At least not yet. And I'm not saying we can't build to that. Right? But to try, unless you just go straight up multiverse, they already existed somewhere else. The idea of a Professor X, unless you first class it again, start them young in this universe with all these other people, how do you do that? Because the X-Men, I don't care how the X-Men is stupid without it, Professor Xavier. It just is.
You gotta let the Fox ones.
It's like having Venom without Spider-Man. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? That's just no reason to hate, fear, distrust, and even different skin color. X-Men was a way superhero universe to reflect that. So how do you tell those stories in the MCU? I say this obviously. Yeah, I mean, again, there are. Again, right now, WandaVision sets that up perfectly. She essentially took an entire town hostage.
Yep.
She walks out of that town. We still know her for having done what she did. As a matter of fact, it is apparently common knowledge that she almost single-handedly defeated Thanos.
Yeah, that little bit.
Just drop that joint like a sidebar conversation.
Yeah.
But that also means that everybody is aware of just how powerful she is. Except there's this town full of people who experienced it firsthand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So go take care of that. J. Robert Dean. Blessings. Love you, dude. I don't think we have to use the X-Men to tell that story.
No, we don't. They're doing it right now.
If they give us, here's part of the issue. The X-Men have not been important, technically, truthfully, in comic books for a long time. Yeah. At least not in the way that we're used to them being, like, again, that whole Professor X, Magneto, you know what I mean? Like racism, discrimination, kind of like they haven't been important in that way in the comic books forever. And then with Fox not playing ball, Marvel did so much to erase their legacy, erase what they were and who they were. They replaced them with Inhumans, more or less, right? Which they can still go down that road if they want to. But if you take any other character, right? you're gonna have a character that's getting her own show like She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
I have to imagine it's going to be hard to imagine that in some way, shape, or form in that show, we're not going to have stories of how this woman who is a lawyer, a brilliant mind, is also a Hulk.
Yeah.
And how people feel about that. What kind of fears people have. This is a thing that is going to continue to grow as we start to focus on the populace that isn't just these heroes and their individual movies. Correct. They were not allowed to use the term mutants.
So Marvel practically almost written them out of existence.
They just say, since we can't play with our own product, our own creation.
Yeah, we're just gonna kill it off.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I guess part of the thing for me is, here's what I like about what they did with Spider-Man again. We didn't really get a reboot because we didn't see his origin story. We already know it. I don't think you can do that with a team of 5, 6, 7, or 8 people. Right? I mean, you can just say, yeah, they exist. Here they are. You have to work that in. I think that there is much more of an ability to write characters in an introduction. Like they'll do with Kamala Khan. And introduce new characters and their powers and their abilities and what it means for them to go through some of those same things. If you are feeling like you need to see the X-Men again, I asked already, who do you want to see? What do you like? I guess I'd be all right with seeing Nightcrawler again.
For me, I would love to see a proper Gambit and Rogue on the screen because they're my favorite too. But for me, that's it. I just want to see them get their just due on the screen.
I'm an Iceman stand up. Iceman is.
I could see him using the school. The school as a reference, like
that's what I'm saying.
The MCU going forward, like
there's plenty of other mutants there. There's a whole school of mutants. You can create. I don't know how many endless amounts of teams.
And they don't even got to use the word
doing things.
They don't got to use the word mutants. People who just are have powers. They can go there to learn how to channel them and control them, and they're welcome and all that kind of stuff. Like it's just
abilities.
They're going to use mutants because they're allowed to now.
They got.
They're putting something out called the Mutants. You know what I'm saying? Jeff,
they're here.
Who you want to see? That's what I'm talking about. So, Psych, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm, Wolverine, Phoenix.
I don't want Phoenix anymore. I can't take Phoenix again. Like,
do we need Phoenix or do you mean Jean Grey? Like, I do need clarify for me. Again, I love Iceman, dog. I also think, look, there's a role you can travel with a character like Iceman, not only in how powerful he is, but also that he is gay, also that he fought and struggled with that within his own storyline over all of these years, right? Coming to the realization, on his own. All right, with Jean, pre-Phoenix. It scares me that if you do that, you almost have to go Phoenix at some point.
Right.
Just because she's there. The only thing, unless you take Phoenix and you don't involve it around her, within the comics, a number of other Marvel heroes and villains have actually been have had a hold of the Phoenix. So you could use that as a catalyst and go down that route. Now, if that's the case, yes, I would keep Jean Grey to get to the Phoenix to be able to take the Phoenix and use it with somebody else. I think I could live with that. We can acknowledge the fact that, she was the Phoenix. She did whatever, but the Phoenix either left her, they were able to extract the Phoenix, whatever it may be. Accident happens or whatnot ever, and whoever picks up and grabs the Phoenix. That could create a whole new villain right in there, or it just gives a hero a brand new set of abilities and moves that they wouldn't have had outside of that. And that I could live with.
Again, you can do Phoenix Force. I personally feel like without properly setting up Phoenix Force is, I feel like it's going too far. But again, if you're gonna try to do something like that and you're gonna go Avengers versus X-Men, you can kind of do that. The problem with that is that none of the real Avengers exist anymore. They're all too old. They're all phased out. And right now we're leaning more towards young Avengers than we are towards that. So having a run of, again, doing characters like the New Mutants, that's not a bad idea. Because they'll be young like the young Avengers are. You know what I mean? There's and I don't know. I'm not really interested in the idea of X-Men versus Avengers. I just think that's, again, that was a thing that was done to like quash the X-Men. You know what I mean? Like, that's a thing that was written to help push them into non-existence. I just think that there are a lot of characters who have really cool powers and abilities that they don't spend enough time focusing on. And I understand, like, everybody who's everyone's naming, they're all original core, awesome X-Men. I don't know, man. I don't think I want to see it. Captain Falcon, Captain Marvel, Jane Thor, War Machine, She-Hulk, Ant-Man, Wasp, are these. Listen, they are, but not to go against the X-Men with Phoenix Force. Like, I just like
that's OG. That's OG Avengers right there. Plus a couple other heavy hitters that they would add into it.
Yeah,
that Jane Thor isn't going to last anyway. That's going to be a one-off. I'm pretty sure. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that happening. I don't see that lasting super long. You know, but new X-Men comics deserve chefs. Listen, I right. I mean, you're right. X-Men vs. Avengers was done to sell comics.
Maggot Merrill,
yeah. I mean, I'm not. Again, that's my thing. I feel like I'm not saying that they can't speak about them, that they can't show up somewhere in some way, shape, or form. I don't want to see. It would be relatively difficult for me to get excited about an X-Men movie again. I could get excited about so many other characters. Like, I was excited about X-Force being in Deadpool. They ruined it. You know what I mean? But Domino, Shatterstar, give me Long Shot. You know what I'm saying? Introduce Mojo. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, Pharaoh. Like, yo, like, give me some. There are so many cool characters, you know, that are out there. And look, you can supplant, you know, a couple of folks who have been on the X-Men team or something like that in some way, shape, or form onto another team or whatever. Like, you can kind of mix that bag up because that happened. You know what I mean? Like, people who were on the X-Men team ended up on Excalibur. Look at the Nightcrawler. You know what I mean? As an example. I think that doing straight up the X-Men, I'm not saying Feige can't do it well.
Agreed.
I'm not saying
just let it be for now.
It's just not what I want to see. You know, it's just like I know they're gonna do the Fantastic Four, but I don't want them to.
I'm with you 100%.
I don't want them to do the Fantastic Four again. I understand what it means to have them back. It more than likely means we're gonna get Doom because they're not gonna give us. They could give us Mole Man, but come on,
No.
come on. You're right, Heather. Fox did burn through a lot of the X-Men goodwill. There are some dope characters within X-Men. You could revisit the 92 X-Men. You could absolutely jump on Sinister. I would be okay with seeing Havoc. You know what I mean? And his brother can be Cyclops. Like, I'm cool with that. The Summers kids can exist, like, whatever. But, like, I don't need that team again. Yeah, I don't see this right here. What I want, I'm down with the Future Foundation. They give me Future Foundation in them white suits.
Well, that's because they got Spider-Man in it. That's because they got Spider-Man in it. That's the only reason why you're good with that.
I'm gonna have a fit. You know what I mean? Like, real talk, like, right now with them having Deadpool, like my other favorite X-Man is Colossus and Iceman. Those are my guys. Those are the two right there. Love both of those characters. I think they both have great stories. They have already introduced Magic, so Colossus' sister exists in the realm. Like it's
right.
You know what I mean? Like there are things that they could do. Why are there so many FFs? Specifically because Stanley loves double alliteration.
Yeah, I was saying.
Yeah.
Probably Goofy side trilogy against Mole Man. I mean, look, I'm not saying they couldn't do it. I think it would be better as a show if they took the Fantastic Four and did it as a show first. I think they might have something. If they took one main character from the X-Men, pick one. It could be Storm. It could be Iceman. It could be Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Let her show up or do something in Captain Marvel 2. Give her a show. Disney Plus that joint. Let's go.
I'm down for it.
You know what I mean? And introduce those characters slowly. Like it's just, but to just be like X-Men, here's a movie. Like I'll hate it. I'll be so upset.
Give him a slow burn back in.
Hey, listen. The double alliteration thing is a super real thing across comics, period. But again, listen, if y'all haven't seen, there's an episode, I think it's in like the 3rd season of Big Bang Theory. Raj goes through this whole joint, bang, boom, dum doo.
Yeah.
He just starts naming all the double letters. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Hey, listen, and look, I'm here for that. Give me a Bishop show. I don't really want Sentinels, but give me a Bishop show. You know what I mean? I'll be all right with that. They could already be dead. Set in the future. Yep, they existed. You know what I mean? Send them back to the past. Send them before they exist. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I just don't really need it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really need it. Now we can do this all day. We trying to show. Nah. Nah. They don't need to do that. I think a show will be smarter. Again, depending on how they line everything up, how they actually introduce mutants, what it ends up being, if they do it the right way and they introduce X-Men, sure. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Why not? If they look, you know what? I'd be almost willing to accept if they go a Wolverine in the X-Men route.
Mm-hmm.
Almost. I feel like that could be and extra points. Take the double L. No, I'm not saying I wanted a Spider-Man show first before Homecoming. What I'm saying is that based on the way the MCU is currently lined up, introducing the X-Men or giving one character from the X-Men their own show first would make more sense. Spider-Man, like it or not, biggest name in comics. So you give him a movie, but you also don't have to jump through the same hoops that you have to jump through with some of these other characters because, again, you can just introduce him in a movie without doing his origin story because it's not like everybody saw the movie so you know. It's not like they've done it a bunch of times or whatever so you know. It's not like they did it in, I don't know, umpteen cartoons over and over again so you know. It's just that everybody already knows. So we don't, with great power and great responsibility.
Certain characters don't need origin stories anymore.
I don't need to see Uncle Ben.
Yeah, we don't need him. We don't need Batman. We don't need Superman's origin story. Like we know these backwards and forwards now. Like
right.
We can skip that.
Yeah, I disagree. What not in the animated universe, Marcus? What do you mean? You talking about taking double L's, DC? Yeah, you're right. Now DC's animated joints are fire.
Yeah, they're taking those W's. Those are major W's.
But their games do pretty solid too.
Mm-hmm.
The games they do are pretty solid too. Yeah, I'm not straight up.
Martha, why do you know that day?
Oh God, that was so bad. That was so bad.
Oh boy. And they
Stop
gave
saying
Snyder,
that name.
they gave Snyder a Snyder cut. You don't want to see Krypton blow up again.
I have nothing against Krypton. It's Superman. I hate
that up.
Yeah, I mean, technically,
you were trying to kill
on
Superman.
on Krypton, Superman don't have no powers, so he don't care.
I don't care if he got powers or not. I still see him in these streets.
Then look into the future and just see Superman for whatever reason. You know, I'm gonna blow up their whole planet.
If he's on it,
fail.
Wow, dog.
Whatever,
no love for powers or real.
Whatever it takes.
Oh man, let's see. And we don't need a full-blown origin story for the X-Men of the intro to mutants take place in the shows up. Again, listen, that's what I'm saying. Give somebody a show, use that show to pull in different people, and then you could do an offshoot or something like that. I don't like. Again, we don't. But the point is, we don't need the X-Men. We don't need the X-Men at all because there are plenty of mutants. There are plenty of them. If the Inhumans, if the Terrigen thing, if Kevin Feige had done the Inhumans, it would have worked. Period. It would have worked.
I agree with that.
If he had done it, if they had allowed it to tie in to the MCU the way the original intent for it was, it would have worked. Period. You don't need the X-Men. You don't need mutants. You just need superpowered individuals.
Mm-hmm.
But that line starts to run thin, right? Because the reason why mutants were created was because the idea of coming up with a stupid origin story for everybody and how they got their powers. Like, listen, you could say everything you want about how much you like the gritty Daredevil Netflix show, but that dude got his powers in the stupidest way, period. Consistently trying to come up with ways to give characters powers is the reason why mutants became a thing. We need a way for these people that just have powers. Oh, they develop them during adolescence. That's brilliant. Now they can have an origin story, but we don't have to explain how they got their powers.
Right.
They just are a mutant. Right? You don't have to. The Flash got his powers in the stupidest way. Stupid. It's stupid. We accept it. We love him, but it's stupid. And you just can't keep doing that. Like, everybody can't have a science experiment explosion.
Science experiment gone wrong.
Hulk's origin story. Stupid. It's dumb. You could get away with that when they were writing those characters. Eventually, you had to come up with a way to be able to continuously come up with characters without having to write how did they get these powers and blah, blah, blah. Like, you needed that. That's what made him smart. Marcus I said he needs Gambit.
We were supposed to get a whole movie for Gambit.
So all of a sudden you and Sin on the same side?
Yeah, that's rare.
Hey, dog. Let's just do it right here, right now. What's better, One Piece or Gambit? Run it down.
One Piece.
Ooh.
What's on my wall? I mean, the answer's behind me.
Gambit.
He's in the closet. Him and Rogue in the closet, but One Piece on the wall now.
Trapped in the closet.
One Piece on the wall. One Piece all around heads. Come on, Straw Hat for life. Let's go.
Facts, Ellis. Yeah. Colorado and Atlanta.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah, it's out of control, man. Okay, listen. Let's wrap this up. We've been at this for so long, and we could do this for so many more.
Mm-hmm.
So many more hours. What happened? What? Credit card? What? I don't know. I missed that. Gambit is trash.
Yeah,
no.
You can get out of comments for that one. No. You can get out of comments for that one, J. Robert Deans.
Oh no.
Gambit is one of the greatest. Don't start that.
Damn, Mark.
Thank you.
Oh, they added train sound effects to Strowman running around the ring.
Wait. So when he ran around, are you talking about his entrance, or are you just talking about when he actually ran around? Because if he ran around, they gave him. Choo choo. Like, no.
They're gonna introduce WWE superstars into the MCU. It's bound to happen.
I'm surprised that other than Batista, I'm surprised that hasn't.
We don't need him. I mean, my man Batroc, UFC, reckon. Gambit is the love child of Cyclops and Pepe Le Pew. I mean, all right. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Sin, don't argue with that right now. Don't you argue with that right now. Don't you argue with that right now, because it's kind of not. You kind of can't, like, just
do that battle another day, different way.
You just gonna have to let that one go right now. Let it go. I think you better let it go. Okay, so listen. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We greatly appreciate y'all hanging out with us on a Monday night. We have to change things up a little bit. If you didn't know, on Patreon as well as on the Loading Snacks Facebook page, we did post what the schedule is like for the rest of this week. Mm-hmm. Again, we will be live on Thursday, regular time for cutscenes. Twitch will be playing It Takes Two on Friday. Both of those are at 8:30, so regular times for those. Tomorrow morning, we have at 10 a.m. The new Beats and Beatdowns goes live, so y'all make sure y'all check that out. Mm-hmm. Hey dog, you're Strowman is Thomas a train. Hey dog, we're done. That's done. We're done. You got it, Jeff. Anytime. Yeah. So we're gonna be busy all this week. We're gonna be busy again next week. We got a special guest lined up for Thursday. It's gonna be awesome. So y'all make sure y'all tune in for that. We got some plans. We got some things brewing. So 27th. Wrestling chat is they're gonna do kind of a recap of all of what's been going on leading up to WrestleMania, right, Jokes?
Yes, sir.
Expect Ellis and Marcus to join for that, and our good friend BP, Black Squadron podcast to join for that. That's Saturday the 27th at 8:30.
No, we're going at 8.
8 o'clock.
That's 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock. And then 2 weeks after that, Sin?
Yeah.
April 3rd. No, the following week, April 3rd. So
April 3rd.
Day before Easter. Anime chat going live to discuss the culmination of multiple series. Let's run it down. What are we talking? Black Clover.
Black Clover coming to an end.
Attack on Titan
coming to an end.
My Hero season premiere.
Season premiere of that. Jujutsu Kaisen season 1 coming to an end. And The Promised Neverland season 2 coming to an end.
Going to be a great discussion.
Yeah.
Jokes will be there. Marcus will be there. Gabitha's going to join for that. It's going to be a good discussion. Y'all make sure y'all tune in. Y'all are
8 o'clock p.m. We're going live. 8 o'clock p.m. April 3rd that night. That's Saturday night.
We will have that schedule up for y'all to see sooner than later. Jokes, you got a job to do.
It is done.
Again, everybody who's up here, if you jump on that Linktree link right there, you can follow us across the board. All of our Patreon, our Instagram, our Twitter, all of that. Please make sure you're following us across everything. That helps us out. We greatly appreciate it. Check out our Patreon. We actually are getting ready. We gotta record. We have a special show that we do just for that, where we pose a couple of questions. They pick one, and we answer that question and do a short show based on that.
Schedule was a great idea.
Got it, Jay Roberts. So yeah, so definitely, y'all keep your eyes open for that, because we'll update the schedule and make sure you guys know that. Sin, you have a job to do?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, and Tyrone Carson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, y'all look at the chat. A lot of people in the chat are also creators. They're creating things all the time. So it would be wonderful if you all go and follow each other. Again, we are building a community. We're building a fan base. Let's show some love. We have some things planned out that I think most of you are going to want to be a part of. So just keep your eyes and ears open. We're working on some stuff. We may have some things to announce very soon. With that, we are out. Toodles and loos.